All right, folks, welcome on back here this Monday afternoon here, October 5th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Welcome on back for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Got a little frog in my throat right there. Give me a quick sec. All right, there we go. You can hear me loud. Hopefully you can hear me clear throughout this meeting. Hopefully not really cold on the way, but great to see Giancarlo, Scott, Mark, Dale, Greg, Jose, Chuck, the whole team, all of us here, Kathleen, Stefan, Leda as well. Pleasure as always. Perfect. All right, so let's hop right into it, guys. We ended up seeing the WWR trade move up once again. I mean, honestly, I was shocked, to see the stock make a move. I think it was like from Wednesday to Friday. I did the quick math before the meeting started here. This stock ended up making like 120% move from Wednesday's open to Friday's close. Well, I mean, hey, we tend to see that move in one day. We tend to see that move in like 30 minutes at points, right? It's not that impressive altogether, but to see the stock make that big of a squeeze up on Friday to close things out, I thought we were going to see more of a pullback, at least before this happened. So, this really caught me off guard today, folks. Once this ended up opening up, it made that pullback, but not nearly as extended as I thought. Dropped down towards 450, then shot up like a cannon. I think this got halted like 2 or 3 times on the way up. I don't know if it got halted on the way down, but obviously what goes up does come back down twice as right here. There's the gap in the chart. Goes to show it did get halted on the way down. From there, the volume died off. This started to flatten out a bit, pull back more perhaps. But damn, this thing has been on fire this afternoon, folks. More so than anything, once it finally broke out above major resistance that we had, $7.10. This was holding, like, honestly, I think perfectly across the whole afternoon. Just do a quick little check right here. 709 the high from 1228 Eastern. 710, 710 right there. Come back one more time right here. 710. So, if it's not breaking any lower, if it's making higher lows, you would hope to see this type of reaction. But damn, this came quick. So, heading into the afternoon, I hope that a few of us were able to catch it from that level. If not, coming up this afternoon. But I would expect this stock to begin to pull back, not necessarily down to the trend line. I've had this trend line up, really since like 12 o'clock noon. So squeezed up, and right here I was saying, look for a false breakout. I feel like this could be the beginning of the end. And obviously I've been wrong on this stock so far today because, well, from the open, I thought it was going to pull back, but it ended up pulling back, made that move to the trend line, and then the explosion. So, I'm not sitting here telling you guys it's going to trade this trend line perfectly. If anything, it might make a higher low, perhaps off of 750, and then squeeze back up heading into the afternoon. So needless to be said, but WWR going to be number one on our list heading into the close. Hopefully still enough room for me to catch this. I wish I could say I got this from 710. I was playing the SR&E trade. I've been playing a few stocks this afternoon. I was caught a little bit earlier on a trade here, which we'll get to right now, in fact. XPEV, I think they kind of nickname it like the Chinese Tesla, so to say. I think they said that about NIO too, if not mistaken. But we ended up seeing good news come out on XPEV this morning, fairly new IPO. Very liquid IPO. So I've been, trading this up and down today. Now, that's not to say I was perfect. So I took some losses earlier on today, folks. I ended up catching this not on the way up, but it was more on a false breakout up here. It went under and over. I jumped in, and then it came down pretty fast. I got out before it broke below 950, but I ended up taking like a 12-cent hit on the way down. Didn't really start off my morning too nicely. Ended up pulling back towards the eventual low of the day, 1932. Bounced, made higher lows. I ended up jumping in this trade a bit later on. I wish I could say I took the full run up, but for right now, heading into the afternoon, I'll tell you, I'm in this trade currently. So, as we do this meeting, I'll go over a few positions that I'm currently in. I'm actually in 3 as of right now. I didn't hear the TradeStation automation. Nope, I'm in 3 still. All right, so, really quick, for the XPEV trade, it is shortable. If it craps out the other way, I'm going to get stopped out, obviously, but it is shortable. So if it does that, maybe you'll go short going into the close. But for right now, coming off good news, I think it was in relation to Q3 EV deliveries. Like a 200% increase in their electric vehicle, delivery or export, perhaps. But ended up making a huge run already in pre-market. Still holding kind of strong right now into the afternoon. I ended up jumping in, guys, right off its opening bell print. I got in off this pop here from 1966. I waited for it to pull back. Crashed under, broke over, jumped in from there. All right. Now I see a few of us here, Norman and Chuck, inside our chat board saying CBAT. That's a familiar name from the end of last week. Another stock like WWR that ended up running on Friday, and yeah, once again. So heading into the open, it's not to say this tanked. Honestly, this held strong throughout the day, but it took a long while to really get this going. Right, it wasn't as if it like popped right out of the gate like the WWR trade did. Started running up rampantly. So heading into the afternoon, hey, it broke over the 340 high of the day, 350. You would assume to be the next major resistance. Looks like it popped over that pretty shortly thereafter, and a beautiful trend. Watch, I'm going to jinx the crap out of this stock right now. For all of us inside the trading room, you know it's coming. I'm going to put up a nice fancy trend line here, and we're going to see this thing come back down. I mean, it's building kind of this, extended slope here, this almost new trend, you could say. But to see the stock diverge from this trend line for as much as it has, I would assume the next resistance, it's going to make a pop and drop, if not right here. 450 was the next resistance. It's still holding over it right now, but we'll come back to it. Don't be surprised if this pulls back a little bit more first. But great call from Chuck. And yeah, we'll definitely put this on our list as well, the CBAT trade. I was going to say with XPEV, we were going to put that on our list, but if we build up a really strong list aside from these that we're going through right now, I don't mind kicking that off. I always tell you guys here, just because I'm in a trade doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to put it on the list. It might be too slow. I mean, I think for the 3 I'm in, I have a pretty good feel. We'll put at least 2 of them on, but let's see what else we have here from Jonathan. He's asking to go over the BOXL trade. It's about time Boxel popped, right? BOXL, and it doesn't even look like it made that grand of a move. But I'll tell you, for the amount of times that we've called the stock out in pre-market, for the amount of times that news has come out, it made a big pop. It's always dumped back down right away after. It's not like super volatile. It's like really a level 1 or 2 stock as we would categorize it. But man, this ended up making a nice move today. I mean, from the market open, bounced from 190, ended up breaking higher going into the early afternoon. It's pretty flat right now, Jonathan. So for right now, I'm not as keen to put this on our list. It's a little slow. I guess you could say it's kind of near the highs, but this stock has been a tease for us in the past, but nice little move today. I think this is one of the better pops that we've caught, at least on this one, at least during the regular session, not pre-market. All right, guys, what we'll do pretty much from this point forward, what we'll do is go from top to bottom. I see a few other shouts on this one stock, GRNQ. And that was one from this morning too. So let's just go right from percent gainers list down. Yeah, this one heading into the afternoon, it's doing nothing. More of a pump and dump type play, if anything, although it's kind of holding here. Wouldn't shock me to see this pull right back down. So this ended up coming out news, very similar type of move that I just referred. Boxel makes pop and then drop. And, this one was a little bit more volatile going into the market open. So it actually made the pop right away. Then it tanked. From there, bounced off what appears to be support 180. I think 180 that is, right? 185, 180-ish. Yeah. And, good sideless stock for this week. Definitely keep it in mind tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, etc. But, yeah, right now, doing nothing. All right, MYOK buyout. No need to go into that any further. All right, let's see. This spiked up to a high of 473, and then here comes the pullback. Look at the red prints coming in on the tape. 20,000 share print, 12K print, a bunch filled at 450. Needs to get back over 450 pretty fast, I'd say. All right, EIDX, I guess. Pretty expensive, shortable. That's what caught my eye right there, but yeah. ENLV. So for as much as this ended up running on Friday and then pushing up in pre-market, I was expecting more of a dump off here as well. And we ended up catching it for the most part. It did pop right at 930, but more of a false breakout where it held resistance off 15. So from there, it came right back down. So, it was worthwhile to watch. We put it on our watch list for that reason, right? When will it potentially bounce? Well, it looks like it did off 13, but pretty low volume. We didn't really call it out at that point. So, you could say this is more of a dud, at least from today. Obviously, from Thursday, it was a big move in pre-market. Then Friday, it ran. So, this thing's been around the block a little bit, right? All right, PLL, I think lithium company, right? I think the news came out on Tuesday of last week where we ended up seeing a partnership, I think, with Tesla and PLL, if I'm not mistaken, regarding like lithium batteries. I mean, hey, beautiful trend. Actually, a 15K iceberg order on the ask at 34.50, right? That's pretty cool. Look at the spread on this thing. So, in terms of picking and choosing our battles, don't get me wrong, this is moving up nicely. It's trading a lot of volume per minute, but it's really like market fills and seeing a lot of, program trading from the order book. So it makes it very difficult to use this matrix, makes it very difficult to use the Nasdaq total view, etc. So, a level 5 stock, of course, I'm not even going to put this on the list just yet. You know who you are if you're going to be following the stock, I'd say. And that's not a new student or a trial member, I tell you that much. Last thing we would want you to do is follow a stock with that big of a spread and get crushed instantly. This ARTL, we're not going to put this on the list right now, but looking at the liquidity here, a much bigger difference at least. Nice pop after the market opened, more so around 11 o'clock Eastern time. Trended up pretty steadily. Nice move up towards 150. But the run is done on this, I'd say. All right, familiar name, CEI, kind of a cheapie here. Yeah. I got to remind myself also, guys, I mean, with as much as we have going on within the world, it's only a Monday. Not as much news comes out, at least going into a Monday, company wise, perhaps nationally, or, economically, etc. But, and of course, the news coming out over the weekend, we're talking about President Trump, checking out of that hospital, potentially coming back at, what was it, I think today? That's ridiculous, but that's a whole other talking point. We're not going to talk about that today, but nonetheless, ended up making a nice push in the pre-market, ran up nicely after the open, still holding strong right now this afternoon. So could be a pretty green afternoon, so to say. Pretty green close. OPTT. Ooh, look at this. Good timing. Holy hell. What the? Wow. Okay. I was going to just go over the morning move and write this off. Holy smokes. This is really squeezing up right now. All right. Well, you know what that means. If you don't, well, here we go. Take a look at all the other energy pump and dumps over the last week. Sun W, Pola. Pola, of course, popped going into the meeting. I was going to get to that anyway. SPI ran earlier this morning, pretty low volume right now. All right, I guess this is just kind of a freak occurrence here, right? The OPTT trade. Wow, big pop once more. This is a familiar name. If you hear me say this once, you'd hear me say it a million times over. To see a stock like this make a big move up early in the morning, to see it make a second big move going into the afternoon, it's very difficult to see unless if it's near the highs going into the close. Well, it pulled back and it's kind of near the highs right now, right? So, OPTT, hopefully, I'm hopeful at least that this will make the bigger push, the higher high. Right now, there's a 34,000 share order on the ask at $1.30. I would assume resistance pretty much every 10 cents on a trade like this. So, yeah, OPTT. Wow. Good timing. Let's see if we can catch more of those. CRVS from this morning, pump and dump. No need to go into that any further. It's funny. I was talking about green close. We were talking about having a green afternoon with the markets pushing up, and this PEIX, good timing as well. Familiar name over the last month, I'd say. The stock ended up making a huge rally for us. I think even dating back to, what was it? Well, yeah, you could see right here. I was going to say the end of July. Yep. From $1 all the way up to $5. From there, it really started to pull back. I would have thought it would pull back perhaps around like 3, 4, but ended up squeezing right back up, breaking higher and higher. I don't know what the news is on this company as much, ethanol company, but yeah, at the highs right now heading into the afternoon, broke over the high from 2 weeks ago. I guess you could say that's probably a 52-week high. We'll take a quick look back on the daily chart for that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Way over a 52-week high. All right, so is this an all-time high? That's the next question. 985 back from 2016. No, there's a day over 10. Spiked up over 10 here, you could see. I want to get that day for you. Even aside from that, though, nope, way out of range. Okay, so this stock was once like a $20, $25 stock, nowhere near close to all-time highs, folks. So there's definitely historical resistance to work with, but of course with it breaking a 52-week high, looks very strong heading into this afternoon. Actually, in fact, you see on the time and sales right there in red, a 75,000 share print filled at 860. So that's pretty interesting to note. All right, so I was saying before I got cut off by PEIX here, we were talking about having a green afternoon. I should have recapped a few of the pot stocks that moved up, right? I mean, Tilray is still holding strong. It's up 13%. I would have gotten to this anyway. But, hey, Tilray, CGC, APHA, ACB, all these stocks, were moving up pretty nicely heading into the afternoon. There's APHA breaking 5 right now, in fact. CGC already broke 15. Am I in on ACB right now? Is this the one I jumped in on? Nope, not yet. Okay. So I'll tell you right now, during this meeting, just before, within the last minute or so, I got filled on a position. It was Pola. I thought it was ACB. There's a few stocks floating around right now, guys. Pola is not a pot stock. This ACB is. I'm looking for a really nice breakout on this trade over 470 heading into the afternoon. It's super slow right now, so I'm not as keen to put it on the main special list right now. But I'll be calling this out right inside our trading room if this does make the breakout. But yeah, Tilray, CGC, APA, like all the pot stocks. I'm just going to put them all together. And by the way, guys, of course, I am emphatic about trading these stocks today, and with this move today, hopefully the remainder of this week, for the sake that back in 2018, back when we ended up seeing the pot stock squeeze up, pretty much this time last year or 2 years ago, I should say. Tilray was an IPO at the time, ended up running from 35, 40 bucks all the way up to 300. And that's not like a BS price. That's not like reverse splits factored in. That was a real move. So, ended up crashing back down really hard. But given that type of range, how can you not focus on a trade like this heading into this afternoon, especially with this near the highs right now? All right, so I want to jump back to Pola here because I got filled on that trade like in the middle of the meeting. So I'm just going to close out right now for the hell of it, guys. And Pola, P-O-L-A, at this point, we're going to put right on our list. P-O-L-A, I should say. That was one of the other, pump and dumps that we've seen over the last week. When I'd called out OPTT, you saw me jump to this stock. I didn't get filled at the time. When it came down here, I got filled right off 350 and squeezed right back up. So I got out at 372 right now. If it pushes up higher, who cares? But, heading into the afternoon right now, I would say major resistance. Volume got filled at 378 in particular. From there, it's like a ghost town. So I would say 380, probably a bigger order on the ask at that point going into the final hour of the day. But yeah, the more this pushes up towards that 380, hopefully you'll get one more pop, one more breakout up towards 4 heading into the afternoon. All right, cool. So what we'll do right now at this point even is like hop over to losers list. I haven't even really gone down the gainers list as much. If there's anything else that's up that's big, guys, because again, the markets are up. The markets are pushing up pretty nicely. So I'm sure there's a lot more stocks that are up on the day than down. But, let me know if there's anything else otherwise. CNK, Cinemark Holding, not one of those that were up. I didn't see the news on this. I mean, for it to be down 16+% when the markets are rallying pretty nicely, it'd have to be news-based, I'd imagine. I'm going to take a quick look on Benzinga Pro. Give me a quick sec. I'll do a quick copy and paste. All right, let's see. Trading lower after a compete. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I did read the news on this. This was, I think it was in like Friday afternoon or Saturday morning even. So, we didn't focus on this as much, but we ended up seeing the news on Cinemark. So Regal Entertainment, which is AMC's or Cinemark's competitor, pretty much, they're closing down all U.S. locations due to lack of big ticket sales. So that's kind of a scare for CNK. I would imagine it to be a scare also for AMC. Oh, yeah. Dropped down 10% today. Jeez. Okay. You can't short this, though. CNK, you can. Just pretty slow right now. With this in mind, definitely a good stock to keep in mind for this week, guys. Good side list stock. This and maybe the AMC trade, but this one, at least for those that have TradeStation, it is shortable. EPR dropping off, steadily. The volume's pretty crap. All right. AHT, I would say the same. At the lows of the day, shortable. DraftKings, not bad news. I was going to say public offering on them this morning. So we ended up seeing a big drop off the news, ended up dropping down after the open. It's tradable. So, Fausto, of course, is more focused on this trade on the swing side of things. But, with this moving the way it is right now, heading into the afternoon down towards the 22,000 share order on the bid towards 59, I'd say it's a good setup to watch. So DKNG, don't mind putting on our list, albeit a little pricier. Alrighty, folks. I think that just about does it. I mean, really, on the losers list, I said there's not much. So if there's anything else that you guys see, just type it in the chat boards to let me know. I got one for us to begin, just right from my Benzinga Pro. Familiar name to a degree. And KNDI is up 12+%. Just broke over 7. Big volume came in from there. So that could be the makings for a really big move up or a false breakout and sharp pullback. So it's a good opportunity to watch. I mean, it's up big, still fairly active, especially off this breakout. I don't mind like slapping this just on our list for the meantime. So not really too big of a list. From Peter on YouTube saying REGN pretty expensive, but moving. Is that the Regeneron? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So incredibly pricey, but this is the one that is moving because President Trump ended up taking that drug, right? So you would imagine this to get a big squeeze up, if not pre-mark, then of course here after the open. Alrighty, folks. Let me know if there's anything else though. Oftentimes, right after I finish up inside our chat board, I'll see 1 or 2 stocks get called out like a second after I finish up. Uh-oh, look who's back. I was going to call it out before you guys got it. So Kodak is pushing up obviously pretty nicely. For those of us that have TradeStation, you can't trade it. So I think they still have that restriction on our accounts preventing us from trading it. I haven't taken a look. I mean, this is my first look at Kodak today, at least. So, for those that can trade it, put it on your list. For those that can't, it looks like we have a pretty active afternoon regardless. So I wouldn't make this a distraction. That's all I'm saying. All right. Scott's saying the OPTT trade's moving up. That was from a few minutes ago. So that was after we had put that on the list, maybe a new move. Yeah, pushing up pretty nicely here still. All right, cool. All right. So the XPEV trade, I'm going to keep on the sidelines for right now. That one I kind of put on our list there to begin. If it ends up breaking higher up towards 20, I'll be interested. I ended up losing a few cents worth of profit as I've been doing this meeting, but I'm not worried about that. I had my stop set under 1965. But if it ends up pushing up towards 20, I think that could be the makings for a really nice move. The only other one that I'm looking at is this one here, this crazy ass stock JE. And there's no other way to phrase it aside from that, because take a look on the daily chart. If you've been listening to this afternoon meeting, you've heard me talk about this stock down 94% a few weeks ago. You would imagine there would be a point where this would make even a tenth of the squeeze up here to fill the gap. So we ended up seeing a big push back on the 24th. I think even a few days after that, not that day, maybe even here, like one of these days after, more news came out on this company, Just Energy, regarding a 1 for 33 reverse split. So this stock was down off of bad pharma news. It ended up squeezing up a tiny bit, but then from there, another thing came out, reverse stock split. It was down like 35%. It's at all-time lows. So I'm not looking to hold on to this trade as much because, well, I'll tell you, I ended up losing some money on it on Friday. I'm up a little bit right now, and I had my stop set, so I was pretty fortunate that this didn't tank on me here. But hey, the spreads are tight right now. The order book seems to be pretty filled in. 10,000 share order on the S right now at 517 actually. All right, so we'll add this to our list heading into the afternoon. I'm going to say this is more of a level 4 to 5 stock. The spread's pretty tight right now, but the volume dies off very fast. The volume traded per minute, that is. So you got to be careful on this. I'm in right now from 507. I told one of our students, Jerry, just before that in our chat board. All right, well, I'll tell you guys, I don't see anything from the chat boards here. I think that we pretty much hit upon everything, unless if there will be 1 or 2 that pop as soon as I finish this meeting up. But for right now, folks, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 different stocks, and then we're going to put the pot sector on all together. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 pot stocks that we'll tend to focus on. That's really it. So not too big of a list heading into this afternoon. It's a Monday. Not as much coming out aside from this. And, even across this week, it's a really bad week with earnings. I tell you guys inside our trading room, every Sunday, I tend to go through my earnings calendar on Benzinga Pro, line myself up. Well, I lined myself up. I didn't write a single company down. Not one. Not one. There's not one company that's coming out with good earnings that we've like called out or traded. We don't need to, force anything out there as well. But I think the big wave of earnings coming out will be in the next few weeks, next couple weeks. From Jerry, last one here, and this one's worthy of calling out right now. So good reminder. Plug broke out earlier too, of course, ended up moving up pretty nicely. Bounced off of 1520 support, pushing up nicely. I really don't mind adding this to our list, Jerry, really. The one gripe I would have on this trade is that it's just a little slow, almost too slow. It's trading a lot of volume or a lot of volume across the day today, 36 million shares, trades about 26 million on average. So I'm going to put this on our list. It's a really nice tradable stock. I mean, whereas I was saying the JE trade was more level 4 to 5. This is definitely more level 1 to 2, I'd say, but it could be exhausted. That's my only gripe. But for right now, I'll put this on our list. Good call. All right, folks. So I think that just about does it for anybody tuning in on social media. As always, if you'd like to learn more, just read the banner right down there below. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe right to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. Be sure to notify yourself as well. And I always say this, but even more so because I have it planned. Over the next few weeks, I'll be hopping on to do a live Traders Talk workshop. That's a workshop that we host in our trading room every Tuesday. We'll be doing that, of course, tomorrow, hosted only in the trading room tomorrow. But in the next few weeks, I'll be doing a surprise appearance on YouTube. So make sure that you guys notify yourself right on our YouTube channel otherwise. And, feel free to join us live inside our trading room heading into this market close. All right, guys, for all of us inside the room, I'm going to post and tweet the picks. I'll hop back on the mic in about 10 or so minutes. Take care.